Dungeons & Dragons is all about the magic items, and in Neverwinter Nights, this holds especially true from three perspectives. And as we make our way through the various modules, whether it's the main story, the secondary story, or some of the premium modules, understanding the role of magic items and understanding where to acquire them, either from a tactica point of view or as a completionist with character development, is vital. And that's what we're going to explore in this vlog, and that's what we're going to open up in the comments and feedback. Right away, no spoilers. I'm not going to be talking about specific magic items. I'm not going to be talking about specific locations, because so much of the game, being Dungeons & Dragons, is about discovering these awesome magic items yourselves. And I don't want to take away from that, even if you've already played through the main story. Secondary, third, different character classes. There's a lot to discover, and there's a lot that is undiscovered. So from a min-max point of view, Neverwinter Nights and Dungeons & Dragons is about modifiers. You need to beat a certain number to make something happen, whether that's a skill check or that's causing damage or hitting a target. Or likewise, they need to beat a certain number to knock you down, charm you, or bypass your armor class. So the more numbers that you can stack, the better and more powerful your character will be, regardless of the class. Now, in stacking these numbers, there's a fixed number and there's a variable number. Fixed number is, at level 1, a fighter, you get +2, +3. I'm spacing on what exactly it is. +1, +2, +3 to hit because of your skill. Or you take a feat that gives you +2 to this skill check. Or you cast a spell and it increases this by 50%. That's fixed. The variable side is behind the scenes. We don't see this, but if I attack you with a longsword, it does 1 to 8 points of damage. Or if I attack you with this weapon, 1 to 6 points of damage. I want that 6. I may get that 1. I'll probably get that 3 or 4. So the numbers that you can control, the variables that you can control, are massive. This is where magic items come in, because a lot of them, most of them, have a fixed effect. Longsword +1. +1 to hit, +1 damage. Or casting this spell 3 times a day. It has variables, but I get 3 casts from it. This is a very, very important way, adding on elemental damage, adding on other damage. This is a very, very important way to improve your character. Okay, where do we discover these magic items? And what are some of them to look out for? And again, no spoilers. So the easiest way is through acquisition, in terms of going into a store, buying them, looking at the various merchants of what they have to sell. Some are obvious because they have a shop set up and there's a sign out front, and others are a little bit more hidden. The tactica that I've noticed early on, based on the monsters that you were fighting, I like to save my gold. I don't really buy many magic items. I might buy a couple of potions here and there, although if you're crazy and you want to open up every chest, there's lots of healing potions and different potions that you can discover. I want to save my gold for the mid-game, because the mid-game, there's a couple of nice magic items early on that you can buy and certainly go in that direction. But by mid-game, now your character, whatever the class is, it's got some bite, got some skills, got a couple of different clickies, and a lot of nice magic items start to open up. I'd like to have the cash to take advantage of that. Now, being a fixed game and the fact that the game itself, the design, this is not a criticism, but the game itself as it's designed, it doesn't know what character class you're going to play. It doesn't know necessarily what henchmen you're going to take or what path. So the game, the designers, the developers, they've put multiple magic items for multiple character classes. Maybe I play a monk. Maybe I don't play a monk. It would be a shame to play a monk and there's no monk gear in the game. So what this means is, regardless of the character class that you play, even if you're playing a rogue with UMD, use magic device, or a bard, something to that effect, or you have multi-class, dual-class type skills, there's going to be a lot of potent magic items that you cannot use. You're going to sell them. You're going to sell them. And even if you've got dump stat charisma and you don't have anything in appraise, by the end of the game, you're going to have a lot of cash. And you're going to be able to buy most of the magic items that you want. And again, all those magic items that are for sale, they're not necessarily going to be usable by your character class. So I like to save my cash for mid-game And by end game, you're just so flush in gold, it's just crazy, and you can buy whatever you want. So that's the visible items that you can acquire. Secondary items are quest items. You get a quest, you complete the quest, you get a magic item. These are kind of interesting. I mean, there's a few that are really, really interesting, but none that are overtly groundbreaking. There's a couple of nice little clickies that are fun to do to kind of break up the point and click aspects of the game. But the challenge here, of course, is finding the quests. I find the easiest way to find quests is to really, really farm an area. So if I'm starting the main quest, as soon as I graduate from the academy and make it out into the city square, those 4 or 5 buildings in that area, hit up every single building. Before you go on your first quest, hit up every single building. Go in there, ask some questions, click on the NPCs, find out what's going on. You pick up all the quests, and it's important to pick up the quests because they radiate out in different areas. It's nice to have those options. They're going to get you some quest items rewards. One of the interesting ways to obtain magic items is through defeating bosses and NPCs along the way. And again, it depends on the challenge, the adventure pack that you're using. You get a magic item, you get a really, really potent item they were using against you. I find those are a lot of fun. And some of those I keep for a while and then I sell. Some of those are really long-term, really nice and kind of cool magic items. So be sure when you defeat one of these bosses and you get a magic item, resist the temptation to sell it right away. Maybe you hold it a little bit and see in a level 2 or 2 if you still want to do it, or at that point you have so many bags of holding, you can very, very easily stash them and hold them.